whiskey whisk, a stirry stir, a bakey bake, have some laughy laughs.
Hey Munchie Mafia! Today we're making Brookies and we're going to use a fudge brownie box mix to make Brookies. What the hell's a Brookie, you say? It's a brownie meets a cookie. And my massage therapist was like, oh, I was watching this show and they were making Brookies. And I'm like, okay, so WTF is a Brookie? And she's like explaining it. And I'm like, oh, I could probably make those. She goes, well, take pictures or it didn't happen. And I said, well, how about YouTube? Will that work? And she's like, well, I can watch YouTube anytime. I said, no, what I'm saying is I'll put it on my YouTube channel. And she's like, oh my God, you got a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. So this one's for Robin. Not going to see her for a couple weeks, so she's just going to have to, drool over this, I guess. So what we got here is the Duncan Hines dark chocolate fudge brownie mix. And what we're basically doing is we're going to follow the recipe for cookies, basically. So we're going to start off with a half pound of softened butter. And it's always best to, cut it up into manageable pieces instead of just dropping a whole stick in there and expecting your mixer to survive. So then we're going to take 1 3/4 cups of packed brown sugar, and we're going to add it to the butter. But we're not going to put the granulated sugar in there because this is already going to be sweet as it is from the brownie mix, because it's like let's see here. The number one ingredient is sugar. Second ingredient is going to be flour. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear, because I've not researched this online, not watched any other video anywhere or looked online or anything like that. It's just we're trying something out. So let's start this mixer. What we're looking to do is get all that brown sugar and the butter to cream, and we're almost there. So scrapey, scrapey, scrape. Scrapey, scrapey, scrape. And that looks pretty darn good right there. Next, we're going to turn this back on, and we're going to start dropping 1 egg at a time. Scrapey scrape from the post again, just to get all that thoroughly combined. At this point, we can add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're going to add just a little touch of vanilla bean paste. I got this one on Amazon. It's Hailala, and it's from New Zealand, I believe. Yeah, made in New Zealand. This stuff is great. That's what it looks like. I love this stuff. I like it a lot. I like using the vanilla bean paste over the extracts. You get a much better flavor. So instead of using all-purpose flour, we are going to use this box mix of brownie. So we're going to try for typical chocolate chip cookies, say 2 1/4 cups. So we're going to, that was 1 cup that I just dropped in there. And then we're just going to get the spoon in. We might have to add more. We might have to abandon this idea. This is, like I said, experimental. I want to see if it works. I'm pretty good at playing with, and that's the other quarter. Pretty good with playing with baking mixes. I use baking mixes at work. I work at a jail. So we already know what makes a good cookie dough consistency. And dang it, this is not it. This is going to spread and spread and spread. We want the cookies to have some body, but let's scrape it around a little bit and then give it another whizzy whiz and see how we are in like 30 more seconds. So I'm going to actually add another quarter cup to this because I just don't like the consistency. So we're going to be at 2.5 cups at this point. You can always add, you can't subtract, right? So we're just going to go with quarter cups at a time until we get to the texture that we want. And it's starting to firm up a little bit. And what I'm hoping to achieve is there's a cookie recipe that is the Mitchell family recipe. And it is called the Pennsylvania Dutch cookie. I'm looking for a similar consistency. And this here, and the way we test it out, get the lint ball out of there, God, is we just pick it up in our fingers and feel what it feels like. And so we started out with 2.25 cups. We added another quarter cup. We're going to add another quarter cup. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to add a half cup. Now watch, we're going to end up putting the whole box in there. But like I said, you can always add, you can't subtract, right? So add that. So now we're at 3 cups, right? Two and a, yeah. And this is looking more and more like a cookie dough should. I can already tell by the way that it scrapes off the bowl that that's ready to go. All right. Now, what I have are Hershey's Special Dark chocolate chips and Nestle Toll House butterscotch chips. 1 bag of each. Probably too much, but that's okay because, you know, they say less is more, but you know what? When it comes to that sort of thing, there's no such thing as less is more. And there we have it. We've got the dough. It's nice and stiff. It hangs on tight. I think this is going to work. All right, so now we're just going to make little balls of dough with a couple of spoons. And what I do is I'll make them kind of like in the form of a quenelle, which is like a football shape, and then squish them together to make the perfect ball. And we don't want to crowd our pan too much because we don't know exactly how these things are going to spread. I'm hoping that they don't, but you just never know. And you just grab a glop of it with 1 spoon and just kind of move it around until you got it into a shape that kind of resembles a ball, and then put it down. KH Kitchen. I don't know what that stands for, but I like them a lot. They also have ones that are multiple sizes. These will fit a standard half sheet pan, and no 2 half sheet pans are alike. I've learned my lesson from buying some Nordic Ware ones that I got at Costco, that they don't use, or they don't quite fit pan extenders. So if you like baking cakes and you like to do the half sheet cakes, but you don't want to actually use a pan, you can use a baking sheet and then get one of the pan extenders. It's a frame that fits inside these. Best thing to do when you purchase those is the extenders, that is to buy the same brand as your baking sheets. That way you know for certain that they're going to fit. And not all baking sheets are the same size as a regular commercial sheet pan. So keep that in mind. All right, so we're going to go in the oven. So we'll be back in a little bit. All right, so I got them out of the oven. I put them in for 13 minutes. Started out at 10 minutes, which my magic numbers are generally 7, 11, and 13. 13 seemed to be the magic number, but as you can see from here, this is kind of stupid. But I'm not going to quit my day job just yet, because I'm not going to let this win. Now, as I'm taking them off of the pan, we can see that, you know, it held up, but it's crumbling horribly, and it spread pretty bad. And yeah, we got some that are broken, or breaking apart. They spread a lot. So I'm trying to figure this one out. So I might have to revisit this one at a later date. So this is kind of a fail, but also kind of not at the same time, because I can always take the crumbles that's crumbling off, and I could just crumble them up, stick them back in the oven for a little bit, crisp them up, and then turn it into ice cream topping. Second pan, I don't know what the hell happened. Same batch. The only difference is that this was on the lower rack. As you can see, it's so this one's like really super duper crispy. Well, we can always call this brownie brittle, I guess. I mean, they're not horribly crunchy, but this is one of those things where maybe it's a good idea to, you know, just salvage this by putting it in as ice cream topping or something. This one spread really bad. So top rack only for one. Number two, I think what we needed was just a little bit more dry ingredient, but instead of adding more of the brownie mix, I think what we needed to do is use just all-purpose flour, like maybe a cup. So I'm going to try that the next time. So keep an eye out for another video. These actually taste really good. They're kind of gooey, but they're also crunchy at the same time. It's just as they're falling apart. But like I said, ice cream topping. Win-win, I guess. So cook with love, eat with passion. Have a good night, everybody.
Let's work some magic together with all these twisted ingredients that all of you chose, and whoever suggested those damned Twizzlers is going to hell for that.